Alrighty, cool. Oh, awesome. Hey, so I'm Ari. I work at Gelato Network. I'm a smart contracts developer and a cryptographer. And today I want to tell you guys about something I've been working on for the last couple of months. It's GUni, a new paradigm in DeFi. It's basically a fungible money Lego built on top of the Uniswap v3 market. At the end of this, we're going to look at a little demo about how to actually provide liquidity into Uniswap v3 through a GUni pool and talk about some of the benefits. But before we get there, provide a little context, right? What is Gelato and what is Uniswap v3? Because without that, this isn't very exciting unless you have some of that context. So let me see. There we go. Great. So first of all, GUni, that stands for Gelato and Uniswap, right? So let me tell you about Gelato Network, where I work. So Gelato is basically a decentralized network of transaction relayer bots, and it's used for smart contract automation on any Ethereum blockchain or EVM-style blockchain. So to say it very simply, this is just a 1-minute explanation of Gelato. Gelato Network allows you to schedule a transaction on chain, and then in the future, when the conditions you specified are met, one of these transaction relayer bots will actually push your transaction on chain, and it'll be executed at the time you want. And what's exciting about this is it's all totally trustless, so we're not holding your private keys to do it. Also, the bots can't do anything besides the specified transaction. So this is really exciting, as well as the bots are individually incentivized to do this, so they can be fully decentralized, and we can be sure that there's reliability, because the transactions they do will revert unless they're actually paid back for the gas costs plus a little incentive, plus a premium. So yeah, what is this useful for? I mean, as probably some of you know here, there's a lot of needs for automation. Smart contracts that power distributed applications often need like some functions called intermittently every so often, once a day, or functions called at a key moment, right? Like in liquidations and lending and borrowing protocols. Maybe at a certain point you need to liquidate somebody, and that needs to happen quickly. So all of these things can be automated with Gelato, so DevOps for different protocols and developer teams. But also there's sort of this long tail of automation use cases we're really excited about. Basically, users can have their own custom automations, like I want to send some payments once a month, and really easily, without knowing smart contracts or anything, just set those up through Gelato. So that's what Gelato's all about. But GUni is something different. What I've been working on, it's really an application on top. So we're going to look at one interesting application of how we can leverage these automated transactions to participate in the Uniswap v3 market in an interesting way. All right, so that's Gelato. So now, what is Uniswap v3? And so just a disclaimer, right? This is the 1-minute version. It's an interesting and complex protocol. I recommend you read the white paper. It's a much more than a 1-minute thing to talk about. But very briefly, I'm also going to assume that people here know what Uniswap v2 is a little bit, or an automated market maker. So Uniswap v3 introduces the idea of concentrated liquidity into automated market makers. So the classical automated market maker paradigm, the constant product market maker, was basically you would supply 2 assets to a liquidity pool, and then the pricing of those 2 assets is based on one of these hyperbolic curves that you're looking at there. And what was of note in Uniswap v2 is when you provided these assets, you always had to provide it over the entire price curve. So as people trade, and let's say this is a market for USDC and DAI, if everybody wants DAI and nobody wants USDC, then buying DAI will become progressively more expensive as we move along this price curve. But in the old days, in Uniswap v2, you would have had to supply assets always. Everyone had to do this in the same way along the entire price curve. And so the idea of concentrated liquidity is simply that now liquidity providers can all specify a custom bounded range to the Uniswap market. And so instead of having to provide over the entire curve, you can see here that someone wants to provide, I don't know, let's call this USDC ETH. this pair, someone decided they wanted to set a position on this market between, I don't see exactly what it is, $12,000 and $250. So what's interesting, we're not going to get into today, very subtle in the white paper, is how can you efficiently aggregate all these positions and have one market. So read up on that. But so this is the innovation of Uniswap v3. So quickly, we can even look at USDC DAI, one of these positions that we're going to look at a demo of jumping into today. So somebody put a position here between, let's say, $1.01 and 99 cents DAI against USDC. So you can have a highly concentrated range. And as trading happens and the market price moves, your assets, the distribution of your assets changes. So you start with 50% if your position is right around the current market price at $1 at 1 USDC equals 1 DAI. Then you have 50% of each asset. But as we trade and as one DAI is worth $1.01, you can see that now you have 80% USDC and 20% DAI. And then the interesting thing, the weird trade-off in Uniswap v3 is that if you go out of range, you no longer earn fees. So you basically, your money is sitting in the market, but it's not being used because you said, I only want to be a liquidity provider inside this specific range. So this is Uniswap v3. The interesting thing is the more concentrated you are, the more fees you can earn, and the less price slippage that you'll have in the market. But of course, more likely you could get out of range. So that's Uniswap v3, and that's Gelato. So why does Uniswap v3 want automation? Why is it calling out for automation? And how can Gelato help users interact with this protocol? Well, I think the main issue is that there's a significant complexity and a management overhead for liquidity providers in Uniswap v3 in comparison to in classical Uniswap v2 style automated market maker markets. So why there was such a proliferation of that Uniswap v2 style market is because it was very simple to participate as a liquidity provider. We all had the same rules. You can throw your assets in there, and you don't have to be some sort of professional market maker who understands how to rebalance your position or something like this. Similarly, on the trading side, it was quite easy to integrate with, and so that's why it was really exciting. But now, in Uniswap v3, liquidity providers have to deal with setting a range. And of course, you can set any range you want. But setting an appropriate range that actually makes sense in the market is non-trivial, right? Also, the fees that you earn in Uniswap v3, they're not immediately compounded. In Uniswap v2, they would have been compounded into the protocol automatically. In Uniswap v3, they're sitting off on the side. So this is another managerial overhead. What are you going to do with the fees? Are you going to harvest them and put them in as liquidity into the protocol, or you want to do something else with the fees, but you have to account for these. And this is another overhead. And then, of course, positions can go out of range. And then what do? You rebalance? If you do, you take on a lot of price risk. So there are all these choices for liquidity providers, and it can be a little bit more complex. And finally, probably the most important thing is that now one of these liquidity provision positions on the Uniswap v3 market, they're actually represented as non-fungible tokens, not as fungible tokens. Why? Because each of us has a specific unique position, right? We have unique price bounds on the market, so one position isn't the same as the other. In Uniswap v2, since we all supplied assets across the entire price curve, then it was very simple. You basically own a proportion of the entire liquidity pool. But in Uniswap v3, it can't work like that, right? Because each of our positions is unique in terms of which price bounds we actually want our liquidity to be used in. And so the issue with that is this breaks a number of current DeFi paradigms of these fungible liquidity tokens were used in lots of things. They were used as collateral types in lending and borrowing markets. They were used for liquidity mining schemes where you could take your fungible tokens that you have gotten for providing liquidity and basically lock them up and stake them. And if you do, you can earn rewards. So all of these ideas, all of these ways that an LP token was a money Lego are broken or at least need to be changed, and we'll see how we can do that with non-fungible tokens. But what GUni's idea is how can we refungibilize these and thus have a fungible token in the Uniswap v3 market which will then be able to be used as a money Lego in in the same ways that they were in old style liquidity provision. So I went on very long, but so basically here I'm showing my tweet thread because I was a little lazy. So GUnii is basically a framework for Uniswap v3 positions wrapped into fractional, fungible, auto-fee compounding ERC tokens, ERC20 tokens. So basically there's a smart contract that manages a single position on the Uniswap v3 market, and it's like a public position. Anyone can provide assets, provide liquidity into this specific position, and what you get back is a proportion, a fungible token, which represents your proportion of that specific position on the Uniswap v3 market. You can provide liquidity and mint GUnii tokens. You can also burn your GUnii tokens, and you'll get back your liquidity and any fees that you earned, the proportional amount of fees based on how much of the position you own, or what proportion of the supply of the GUnii tokens you own. So basically, you get the experience of a Uniswap v2 liquidity provision. You put in your liquidity. Your fees are auto-compounded into the position. At any time, you can burn your liquidity position and get back all the fees you've earned and the initial liquidity you put in. So what's interesting is Gelato. So right, this was all about automation. This is what Gelato does. What Gelato does is basically, as the fees are accruing, a very simple automation service, which is just auto-recompound earned fees into the position. And so there are bots surveying each GUnii position. And when enough fees have been earned, the parameter can be set exactly what it needs to be. The bot will automatically compound those fees back into the position. It'll be repaid with a slight premium on the transaction fee, so it'll happily do this trustlessly. Now, when you have your GUnii tokens, what's nice is now you have a liquidity position, LP fungible token that you can take and use as a money Lego in DeFi protocols, just like we used to. And so what has this been used for already? Well, Instadap launched their INST token, and they wanted to incentivize liquidity on the INST ETH pair, but in the Uniswap v3 market. So they used GUnii to do this. People could put liquidity into a GUnii position and then take their GUnii tokens and stake them to earn INST rewards. And they were able to bootstrap liquidity for their INST token. Also, it can be used in lending and borrowing markets. And actually, this is what's really exciting, is today, GUnii DAI USDC was just onboarded as a collateral type with MakerDAO. So you can actually go 50x leverage on GUnii DAI USDC if you'd like, starting today. So it can be used as a collateral type in lending and borrowing protocols. Cool. So yes, today get some GUnii and put it into a Maker Vault, and you can start minting DAI. And you'll see exactly now, we're ready for the video just to see how you could jump into one of these GUnii pools. So here I am on our Sorbet front end, sorbet.finance. You can see there's a bunch of different GUnii pools you can participate in. This is the DAI USDC pool. I think I take a look at, the position. You can see that the position is tight around $1. So this position will stay fixed forever, basically tightly on both sides of $1 for each token. And so then you can just click Add Liquidity and decide to provide liquidity. And one nice thing is, of course, since you're going into this position, and if the position is in range, you're going to need a certain proportion of both DAI and USDC. But we have a router that just handles this for you. So here I'm going to provide $200 of liquidity, all in USDC only. But it's going to first rebalance my assets, buy a little bit of DAI, and then deposit both USDC and DAI into this Uniswap v3 position that is held by a smart contract, and I'll get back my GUnii tokens. So here we are. We add liquidity. And yes, you can see that we swapped 80-something USDC for DAI first, and then we deposited another 115 USDC and 85 DAI or so into the position. And at the end there, you can see I minted 0.2 GUnii DAI USDC. So then the nice thing is now you have this, you can take a look at your position and manage it on our front end. But what you have is you have this ERC20 token, this GUNI token, and you can use it again as collateral type in any way you choose, or it can be a flexible money Lego. And our hope is that it's a highly unopinionated framework here, so the use cases are myriad. There's also ways to sort of manage these positions and make them active. So the .USDC one you saw was, it's going to stay the same forever, just be in one range, but it's also possible to automate how these ranges might move as the market moves. But so anyway, hopefully that was interesting. I'm Ari. You can check out Gelato Network there. I'm also Cassandra.eth online. You can find me on Twitter. So anyway, please contact us. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.
Awesome. Up next, we have Julia from Orca Protocol.
Thank you. I know Vitalik is cool, but I promise Orca Protocol is cooler. Okay, cool. So I am Julia. I am one of the co-founders of Orca Protocol. We are building a modular DAO implementation to build governance around people based on their expertise. So I sort of joke that DAOs are broken today, and what we sort of see is that DAOs are either decentralized and, as a result, very disorganized, or organized and, as a result, fairly centralized. So we sort of see a need for somewhere in between, and we're excited to enable that with Orca. So I sort of pose the question, like, what if DAOs were about people again? I think we're generally seeing a trend towards this. We see Yearn moving towards Y teams and how they organize their DAO. We see Maker creating core units. We see Synthetics has created the Spartan Council. So these are all really just initiatives to figure out how we can like better organize our DAO ecosystems around people. And that is exactly what we're doing with what we call pods, which is the key primitive that we're building with Orca. A pod, the way I like to describe it, is basically building governance around small working groups of people based on their expertise rather than just their token holdings. And what's really interesting is that within a pod, you actually have a very flat ecosystem. So one membership to a pod is one vote, which obviously differs from what we see today in token-weighted voting. And you see these massive whales participating, and the community doesn't actually have much of a say in what happens in our day-to-day governance. So we're excited to be able to sort of like silo out these small working groups within DAO ecosystems and how we can empower contributors to actually be meaningful stakeholders in these organizations without having, massive bloated holdings of project tokens. And you can kind of see in this visual too, like this is an example of how a DAO ecosystem could be. That you have sort of like these little pod ecosystems that have very specific roles and responsibilities within that organization. And that's really like siloed to a specific group of people. And that way, I always joke, like, why would you have non-technical contributors voting on technical decisions? Like, it doesn't entirely make sense. So we sort of see this model empowering people who, are most knowledgeable in that specific field. So when we think about our UI for Orca, three main goals is really around accessibility. So that's voting accessibility, ease of use, just really trying to make it as accessible as possible to people, which I would probably argue is not the case for DAOs and governance today. And then also aggregation, proposal aggregation, aggregating just all of the information that's relevant to you specifically as a contributor in a DAO. Also, visibility. I think that's something that's really missing from the DAO ecosystem today. Community members come in, they want to participate to a DAO, but it's really unclear where they can even sit in these DAO ecosystems because they don't even understand where certain contributors fit. And I think when we add this layer of visibility, we'll really start to see these ecosystems flourish. So this is an example of a pod page. So as you can see, we hook up every pod with a specific EPNS domain. And you can also see all the members that are part of this pod. So this is an example of the Orca design pods. You can see all of the designers that are working on Orca design, link out to their Twitter, their address, their EPNS. And again, this is just really trying to increase visibility in these small working groups within DAO ecosystems. This is an example of a user page. So what's really cool about this is you can go to my user page and see all of the pods that I'm a part of. And what this enables is you actually start to sort of create this really interesting social graph of how everyone is connected via these sort of working groups, which I would argue is probably more relevant than, proof of other activity I've done on chain, is how I'm actually connected in these ecosystems, whether it be specific within a single DAO ecosystem or across DAOs. We also represent membership through NFTs. So you can actually go to your own wallet and see all of the specific NFTs that flag the pods that you're a part of. So just as you would go to your wallet to see any of your assets, you can actually go to your wallet and see also the pods that you're a part of. And again, this is really just to increase visibility. You can go to any person's wallet and see, okay, they're part of X, Y, and Z pod. And that way, we're really just empowering community members with more visibility on what's actually happening within these DAO ecosystems. So yeah, that's Orca Protocol. We're on testnet right now. We're really excited to be launching with some amazing partners in the next few months, but definitely check us out on Twitter, join our Discord, and thank you so much.
Up next, we have Harsh from Ethereum Push Notification Service.
Hey guys, as mentioned, I'm Harsh from Ethereum Push Notification Service, EPNS for short. What we are building is the world's first communication or notification protocol. I have added few more seconds on every slide to just give me some time to be impromptu. But yeah, off to good vibes. So as you can see, this is just our alpha drop. Cue in your favorite music if you want to. We always like to start with some good vibe video. So yeah, off to the problem. What are we solving? Well, we are solving the problem of communication or the lack of it. Just think about it. Whatever you do in your virtual world or Web2 world, that's driven by notifications. Your emails are notifications. Chances are you came to this event with a notification. Amazon delivery, Venmo, PayPal payments, anything you do, even the WhatsApp chats or FaceTime messages or FaceTime calls, they are all notifications, but they are on Web2. Simply put, after 2010, it's like this anywhere. Services, they reach out to their users. They say, hey, something of importance might have occurred, and what do you want to do? But that's Web 2. When you come to Web 3, there's a huge, huge communication gap. Services, they are not able to communicate with their users. And if any one of you have checked out any dApp, any smart contract, you have to go back again and again to see what's happening. If you are into DeFi, your loans are liquidated and you are not notified. If you are into governance, proposals, they come and go, and you're not notified. Something as crucial as a smart contract exploits, they're not, the users, they don't get to know about it. And something as basic as receiving crypto, again, no notifications. Well, the solution, of course, we fixed that for you. The way we did it is by creating a network that is decentralized, and it's a communication or notification protocol that any dApp, smart contract, or backend can use to send notifications directly tied to user wallets. Of course, we did few innovations around it as well. We made it open. That means any crypto wallet can just tap into the network and can show notifications for your wallet address. Then we made notifications dynamic, which means notifications are not just text. You can do CTAs, you can do images, and you can do so much more. You can do encrypted transactions. You can even have a governance yes and no vote coming on your front-end mobile app and just saying yes and no. And of course, we had to make it multi-chain and platform agnostic because we want to be the de facto Web3 layer. How do we do it? Well, 3 ecosystem cogs, they guide the entire EPNS protocol and the network. One is EPNS core. It's always residing on Ethereum. And even if you are a non-EVM service who wants to send notification, you have to create a channel on this EPNS core. Then we have EPNS communication. These are smart contracts deployed on all the chains, Ethereum, Polygon, even backend services or direct payload can be sent through that. And then we have push nodes. Push nodes, they are open P2P communication layer. So EPNS.com communicates to push node validates, and if everything works out, the notifications to your wallet addresses are pushed out, either to any crypto wallet, any service, or any front end. Okay, so let's dig into some demos and notifications. Over here, this is a user journey. This is our front end. Again, it's a front end interacting with the protocol. Right now, the services you see, they are active, including Uniswap. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just opting in to Wallet Tracker to receive notification whenever my Ethereum, whenever someone sends me ETH or I send someone ETH. So yeah, it's as easy as that. Once you opt in, you can start receiving notifications. You can even opt in use by directly interacting with the network. So awesome. Let's check out how to send notification on Uniswap. So this is an example wherein we are using backend to send notification about people who are whose fees are going out of range for Uniswap. Apparently, Uniswap is quite popular over here, regardless of them not being here. But yeah, we have the showrunners framework. Over here, the showrunners is calculating all the users who have opted into the Uniswap channel, whether they're out of their fee pool range or not. Once that's done, it will just form the payload identity, and it will just trigger the notification to the wallet address. This is our mobile app, but technically, even MetaMask or Trust, if they integrate us, they can show the same. And as you can see, Uniswap v3 LP out of range notifications are triggered. So that's backend. But what about smart contracts? Again, we got you covered. All a smart contract needs to do is just utilize 2 functions of ours. There's one function called create channel, and the other called send notification. This is a very basic smart contract. Essentially, whenever someone will send you Ethereum in this smart contract, a notification will be triggered for that wallet address. We are just showing you all the transactions. So we created a channel through the smart contract interaction. And now we are going to send some money. We wish Ethereum was that fast, but yeah, this video is. All right, so as you can see, we just send this wallet address 0.5 ETH, and a notification got triggered via smart contract. But yeah, we are not done yet. A middleware needs to be powerful. and that means it needs to support everything. So off-chain, what if you want to directly interact with the network? You can do that. We are doing that with the help of Postman over here. We just sent a notification payload, push nodes validated it, and everything was good, so you got a notification. As I said, notifications are dynamic, so you can see this is call to action. You can even click on the notification, and it will take you to Messari Mainnet. All right, so, but what if you don't like Ethereum? You're more layer 2 guys. Well, we got you covered. We are coming on all L2s. This is Polygon Aave. Let's say your loan is about to be liquidated. Well, the showrunners framework will detect that for you, and it will essentially trigger a notification before your loan is liquidated, therefore improving the UX and bringing it on par to Web 2. So, as you can see, another notification, this time of Aave. All these notifications, by the way, they are live and running right now. But yeah, what about manual? Let's say a smart contract bug happened. That can't be automated. Well, all you need to do is you can go to our dApp, or you can use any front end, and you can send a targeted notification. Again, fast forwarding it, we are just spicing of this notification with subject, text. As I said, like there's call to action, you can even send video. So this notification, we are just going to show you how a video notifs look. So yeah, the interaction with the dApp is complete, and you can see the notification right now. Awesome. So that's just the video which we showed you guys again. But yeah, essentially, our goal and vision is that this communication layer is powerful, it's flexible, and it's dynamic. Also, time for the alpha drop. So yeah, this was Ethereum and L2s, but as I said, this is de facto Web3 communication layer. So we are going to come on non-EVMs as well. What's better than an alpha drop? Well, a couple of alpha drops apparently. So we launched our governance. We wanted to do mainnet at mainnet. Happy to say that we are an audit. The push nodes and the staking and slashing, they're coming by the end of 2021. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's it. That's the entire presentation, guys. Thank you so much for attending. You can follow us on EPNS project, or you can visit our website at EPNS.io. Thank you.
Up next, we have Joe from BitGo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Brzezzi. I'm the Managing Director of Institutional Sales for the Americas at BitGo, where I lead our US sales team, and I cover many of our largest clients, including institutional investors, exchanges, and crypto protocols. I've been with BitGo for over 3 years, and we've spent a lot of time at all these conferences talking about institutions coming into crypto, and I'm happy to say that BitGo has actually been making that happen. We went from a world 3 years ago where we would be talking about what are private keys with institutional investors to a world today where we're talking about how do institutional investors get access to DeFi or to altcoins like a Solana or an Avalanche. So it's really my pleasure to be up in front of you today to show you a bit about how BitGo helps institutions get into the space. And for us, that really means everything from having custodial wallets to placing trades to staking, interacting with smart contracts, and really having a platform that offers somebody a front-to-back solution where they can do everything that they want to do in the crypto market. So what I'm going to be taking you through today is actually something we're calling the new BitGo, which is our brand new UI, which is purpose-built for institutional investors, and it allows them to do everything from creating wallets through placing trades. So in a few moments, when this video catches up to where I'm talking, I'm going to show you the full journey of how we help institutions get into crypto. Would you mind just cutting forward a few seconds for me? So in just a few moments, we're going to get logged into the account. Everything we do at BitGo is about security. So when someone logs into BitGo, they have to do so from a username and password known only to them. They have to use a secure form of 2FA, and they have to do it from an IP address which has been whitelisted by BitGo. So this is the new BitGo homepage. To get started, on the very left-hand side is our navigation pane. You'll see the main components of BitGo, which includes approvals and activity, allows people to govern everything happening on their account, portfolio so that they can see all of the activity and assets that they have, transactions, which is a reporting feature, an address book to manage all their counterparties and relationships. And as we work our way to the right, we'll see an overview of their portfolio, how the value of it is changing over time, recent activity, some open trades that I've placed for the demonstration today. And in the very upper right-hand corner, you'll see the main functions that people use at BitGo, which is trading, depositing, and withdrawing funds. So the first thing that I'm going to be taking you through is just how clients create wallets at BitGo. One of the unique things about BitGo is we are the largest provider of wallet technology in the world. 20% of all on-chain Bitcoin transactions are secured by BitGo. If this is the first time you're hearing that, I didn't misquote it. 20% of all Bitcoin comes through BitGo on the blockchain. So to create wallets, our clients simply click on Wallets and Connections, and this gives them a unified screen where they could see all their wallets, their trading accounts, their custody wallets, which are managed by BitGo, and hot wallets. We're the only firm that offers this all in one application. And to create a wallet, they just hit Add Wallet, give their wallet a name, select the type. In this case, we're going to do a custody wallet for Bitcoin. They'll select on Bitcoin and hit Create Wallet. And in just a matter of moments, you'll see that we have this Bitcoin wallet in our cold storage. For the purpose of this demo, I'm actually going to focus in on an Ethereum wallet and show you how institutions can control how transactions are governed. So you'll see we have 4 tabs along the top, which is Overview, Transactions, Line Items, and Settings. It sounds boring initially, but I'm going to really focus in on settings because that's where the magic of BitGo happens. So in the very bottom in the middle, first and foremost, they can control who has access to their wallets. This is obviously very important for institutions. They need to define how everything occurs, who's involved, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead here and add a user that I'm calling Taproot. My Bitcoin fans in the crowd will get that. So I add this user, I give them special privileges on the wallet and enter in my wallet password. And now we'll see that this is pending approval. So I'm actually going to log into another account called SegWit in a moment and approve that. But in the meantime, I'm going to add a spending limit. So one of the things that we do is take crypto wallets, which can otherwise send in infinite quantities, irreversible transactions, and make it much more secure and managed. So I add a limit here that any transaction greater than 0.001 ETH requires multiple approvers. So I'm going to log into my other account. I'm going to approve that this rule is legitimate for this wallet. So we'll give this just a moment. 2FA into our other account. And we'll see on the very top that this other user now has the pending approval to add a Taproot to this wallet and also to approve this new spending limit. So I've gone ahead and approved it. And we go back to our main account. And we'll now see that we have a spending limit of 0.001 ETH on this wallet. All transactions greater than this amount are going to require multiple approvers. We're going to come back to this in a second. One thing that I'm going to spend a minute highlighting is the ability for clients to generate addresses on any wallet. BitGo has over 250 exchanges that use our wallets every day to run their business, and we've set the platform up in a way that any wallet can scale to millions of users or addresses, and it's very simple for somebody to generate many addresses for one wallet. And so I'm demonstrating here a Bitcoin wallet where we're generating multiple addresses. We can give them a label. And this is really a major feature of BitGo, which is enabling institutions to scale their businesses to many end users. So when actually conducting a transaction, all somebody has to do is hit withdraw in the upper right-hand corner. They'll select the wallet they want to withdraw from. In this case, I picked the ETH wallet that we just set the rules up for. I entered an amount that I knew would trigger the approval so that we can demonstrate it here today. So we're going to send 0.02 ETH, and this is going to get immediately flagged by BitGo and say, hey, this actually requires an additional approver. So after I enter in the wallet password and the 2FA, we're going to see here that this withdrawal has been initiated. It requires another approval. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that we need either Peter Pong or SegWit to actually approve this transaction. So we're going to jump back over to SegWit's account. We'll see again on the very top, there's this withdrawal request. We'll approve it with a secure form of 2FA. And in just a millisecond, BitGo will actually broadcast this transaction to the blockchain. So we'll jump back to our original tab, and we'll see already that this transaction has already been broadcast to the Ethereum blockchain. So that is a very quick summary of how clients can create wallets for over 400 coins and tokens at BitGo, set up rules, add users, and then actually conduct live transactions that require multiple participants to be involved. So I'm going to move on to the next piece, which is trading. BitGo has a very unique element of the trading world where we allow clients to trade directly from cold storage. So anyone can keep assets inside of BitGo's regulated trust company. We have $100 million of insurance through Lloyd's of London, and we enable them to trade right from those accounts. This is much different from an exchange where users have to actually deposit funds into pooled wallets, not regulated, not insured. We actually do all the work to aggregate liquidity from multiple exchanges and OTC desks, and then when clients actually put a trade in on BitGo, their order immediately gets routed to the best price, and all the settlement occurs from their cold storage. We have some algorithms which allow clients to break up larger orders into time-based orders, for example, a TWAP. If anyone's been reading about how MicroStrategy trades, you'll see that they buy small amounts of Bitcoin over long periods of time. We've gone ahead and exposed the same type of tools to our clients. And so I've clicked into a sample order here, which was a $3 million Bitcoin purchase over 24 hours. And you can see all the underlying trades that BitGo is actually going out and making for our clients in a totally automated fashion. And again, all settling directly from cold storage. The final two pieces that I'm going to move on to are connecting to external accounts and reporting. So as much as I'd like to think that we get all of our clients' business, we know that everyone's dealing with multiple institutions. We acquired a firm called Lumina, which was a portfolio tool for crypto and allows people to connect to accounts at exchanges and other venues so that they can get all of their data aggregated in one place. So you'll see here I've actually already linked up a Coinbase account, and I can get all of my balances, transactional activity, and things like that in a single platform. And so in a moment when I click on transactions, this will give us an aggregated view of all the activity that's happened both in BitGo and outside of BitGo. And I could, for example, say, show me all of my trades and balances from Coinbase. So we're really offering people a single place where they can manage multiple types of wallets, trading, portfolios, and reporting in a single application, an API. And this is just a little bit of the way that BitGo is contributing to helping institutions get into the crypto space. So I'm up on time. Thank you all for listening to this, and I hope Bitcoin goes to the moon. Thanks, everyone.